bit of grounding in, into our bodies, into Mother Gaia, with some shamanic healing ash flute, 432 Hertz, and the shamanic drum, with the Koshi air chime, to bring our mind, as Aries rules the head, to access the gentler parts of our mind, to bring the energies into our body. The rattle clearing the dissonant frequencies, and the rest just settling us in to the rhythm of our heart and the rhythm of our breath. Invite you to pay attention to your breath and bring yourself into your body to receive the Moon in Aries transit and the full Moon Aries energy empowerment. The Moon transit into Aries at 3:47 a.m. on Thursday, the 1st of October. The moon's in full the same day at 10:05 p.m. or 22:05. There's a Noni snowflake here, by the way. Forgot to mention that. Hello all. An Aries moon is the fire element and its nature is barren. Ruler is Mars, impulse, action, and it rules the head and face. The energy of an Aries moon is masculine, dry, barren, and fiery. Aries provides great start-up energy, but things started at this time may be the result of impulsive action that lacks research or necessary support. Aries lacks staying power. Use this assertive, outgoing moon sign to initiate change, but have a plan in place for someone to pick up the reins when you're impatient to move on to the next thing. Work that requires skillful but not necessarily patient use of tools, like cutting down trees, hammering, etc., is appropriate in Aries. And yes, unless you're like us and a bit clumsy. Expect things to occur rapidly, but to also quickly pass. If you are prone to injury or accidents, exercise caution and good judgment in Aries-related activities. Thank you, Llewellyn's 2020 Moon Sign book. I'm just going to put up Full Moon Power. And now from Kirsty Gallagher's Lunar Living, working with the magic of the moon cycles. The moon in Aries. The moon to be brave and bold. Element fire, quality cardinal, ruling planet Mars, the planet of war, symbol the ram. Big, bold, fiery and full power. The Aries moon brings with it immense energy, which will either feel incredibly positive or hugely emotional, depending on what is happening in your life. If you are moon sensitive, this moon can feel quite intense, irrational, impulsive or restless, or there may be a feeling of heightened energy and a frenzy of excitement in the air. Adding fuel to the fire is a good way to describe this moon, as whatever you are currently going through will be intensified. If there is a burning, deep desire to create change in your life and start something new, such as a new career, relationship or direction in life, or to take an adventure and travel to somewhere you have never been, this will be amplified and you will suddenly have the courage, agency and tools to make it happen.
10 time.
and we have the energies of Saturn there. On the other hand, you may feel impatient and frustrated, especially if you are being held back, unclear on your direction, or ignoring your soul's calling. The Aries moon will magnify this, and you may find yourself short-tempered and overwhelmed. Notice to whom and at what your frustrations are directed, as this may give you a clearer idea of what you are avoiding or when you are not listening to what needs to change. Aries, being the first sign of the zodiac and a cardinal sign, deals with primal new beginnings and needs. It will help you become the leader role in your own life, releasing all that's in the way. As such, this moon can bring a demanding energy of, I want what I want and I want it now. And so you may find yourself acting from impulse and ego. Attempt instead to tune in a little deeper to the inner yearnings of your heart and soul to get in touch with what you truly want. It can sometimes take time and practice to learn the difference between the wants of the ego and the soul. But as a guide, the voice of the ego tends to be loud, demanding and almost childlike, while the voice of the soul is quiet, calm and certain. Literally like a wise old soul. The trick to this moon is to get very clear on what your deep soul calling is, as opposed to what comes from the ego, what society says, conditioning or fear. Once you can get clear on the true calling of your soul and whispers of your heart, there could not be a better moon under which to align your deepest guidance, wisdom, truth and purpose in life. If you choose to listen and most of all feel, you can really discover things about yourself under this moon. Aries urges you to give up the doubts and the back and forth between what you should do and what you truly want to do. Under an Aries moon, you can gain huge clarity on emotions, beliefs, relationships, identities, and anything that you need to let go of. It's a moon of deep inner healing, allowing old wounds to surface, stuck stagnant energy to shift, and anything holding you back to be released. It will also bring a huge surge of passion, inspiration, and motivation to move forward, to get things done, to finish long abandoned projects or pick back up dreams and ideas that the little voice of doom and not good enough managed to convince you not to follow. This moon will help you to propel yourself forward. It's the Aries ram locking its sights and horns on the direction you want to head in and not allowing anything to stand in the way. If you are deliberately avoiding new beginnings and have known for a while that changes need to be made, but have been disregarding the inner voice, Aries may literally ram you into action. This is the perfect time for being spontaneous and taking risks, following your instincts, impulses and intuition, and using this fiery energy to help you see past the nagging voice of doubt. Instead, believing in yourself and your deepest passions and calling. Aries will help you to be assertive, put yourself first, shamelessly self-promote, and to shine as brightly as the moon in the sky. Allow the headstrong ram to help you take charge of your life, boldly step into action and fearlessly ask for what you need. Be brave and take the first steps towards something that has been scaring you or you have been putting off. This is a moon for action and taking a leap of faith. The Aries moon calls you into putting yourself first and following your own path. It lights your inner fire and the dynamic, courageous energy. It helps to burn through all that keeps you stuck, to ram through your constraints and to push you into your individual greatness and real purpose on this earth. Aries will help you to take the first steps towards believing in yourself and telling the world all about it. Mars, the god of war, rules Aries. Mars represents your basic energy, your survival needs and your root chakra. What is the primal instinctive idea or dream coming up for you over and over again, but which you suppress with the grown-up voice and all that the reasons you, supposedly, can't make it work? What do you have a real passion for in life? Mars will bring up all the fears, for survival, that you allow to control your life and hold you back as the ego tries to protect you. On the other hand, Mars also uses the same energies to propel you forward to achieve. If you are brave enough and to follow your purpose and live to your full potential. Excitement and fear feel exactly the same in the body, and so in all moments you have a choice. Are you going to use this feeling to hold you back or to propel you towards fulfilling your potential? Full moon in Aries falls in Libra season. And it fell on the 1st of October. But it can vary between the 23rd of September and the 22nd of October. This is the first full moon following the autumn equinox. It's a time of inner harvest. So look back at the intentions you set at the spring equinox or start of the zodiac or traditional new year and allow this bright, bold full moon to illuminate what has stopped you achieving them. It's time to let go of all the limitations you put on yourself, the sabotaging fears and beliefs, the expectations, the stories you hide behind, the blockages and barriers. Many people find they can't sleep under this full moon, and so if you find yourself restless and wide awake, you are truly being called to action. What is it that you are not fulfilling? What inner calls are you ignoring through fear or doubt? How are you not following your passions and purpose? You know deep down what it is that you should be doing, and if you are really honest with yourself, the reason why you are not. The sun is in Libra during this full moon, so the themes of Libra, such as relationships, finding balance, self-care and tuning into the wisdom of your heart, will now be highlighted by this full moon with Aries energy added to them. If you find this moon takes you into heightened emotional states, make sure that you allow time for self-care. In all decisions you make under this moon, be sure that you are not acting from rash, fiery ego energy and instead check in with your heart. Relationships may also again come under the moonlight, with the full moon energy helping you to finally make changes. Set firm boundaries and release behaviours and even relationships. And we tapped into the energies and meditated and connected with spirit in the void, of course, moon, before the moon transited into Aries. But it wasn't right for us to actually do the reading. So it was Taurus has been, and then it was Gemini today. So we're only just getting these readings caught up with today, because nurturing ourself, the altars that come out, the emotions and the trauma that comes up is more important. And those are the energies that we want to be passed through in these messages, is the importance of loving yourself and nurturing yourself first, so that your energy levels are full up, so that you can be the best person you can be for yourself and all of those around you. These are timeless readings, so anytime you want to tap into these energies, you come back to them. If you want to counterbalance other energies or whatever, anytime you feel drawn to bring yourself into these energies, you can just watch these readings, have the healing and tap into them, because it is timeless energy empowerment. Use the Aries full moon to gain clarity on what needs to go from your life once and for all. List 3 things that always seem to hold you back that you can work on, releasing from your life through the waning moon phase. Shamelessly self-promote and share your greatness and gifts with the world. In front of the mirror, repeat daily, I believe in myself. As you look yourself in the eyes and decide on one way you can share your talent, gifts and message out into the world. And we'll say something about that in a minute that we do when we look in the mirror, but we'll wait till the end. Take action towards something that has been scaring you or you have been putting off. So, for instance, we've had another shift and there was a lot of anxiety about getting back into these, even though we've done a load of them before. Each time we gain more connection, more integration, more co-consciousness and more awareness, our fears have been seen and heard, and I can feel the emotion coming up through me now. But the voice is not coming out in the voice that I can hear as much. I can just feel it more in the body. So it'll be interesting when we watch these back ourselves to whether we can see, hear, feel the change in the tone of voice. Because this is something that we want to continue for our own self-healing, but also to share to others, to catalyse and inspire their self-healing, and to fulfil their dreams. So there's a multitude of reasons why these have been done. So yeah, this is us continuing to embrace and face our fears constantly, because we know that the outcome, and in the end it's all going to be worth it. It just really can be very challenging, like you're plunging through mud, deep mud that's never going to end, but we have faith that it will. And if you're joining us on this live reality healing stuff that's going on, well, you'll be able to see the outcomes as and when, I suppose, when we do too, as it all unfolds together. Identify one action you will commit to taking during the waning moon phase, and one thing you can do each day to take you closer to this. Make an action plan. The key words for Aries are I am. Use this as a journal prompt and see what flows to you in answer. Set some intentions or create some affirmations. Using this declaration at the beginning, things like I am brave and bold. I am on purpose. I am bringing my dreams to life. And that was our intestines and our parasympathetic nervous systems really been sorting themselves out, because we're so much better with our food and eating whole foods. So yeah, that's why my stomach makes lots of noises, because our body tends to go into quite a bit of spasm even when I'm doing this. What to watch out for under an Aries moon. Self-confidence that verges on arrogance and being too self-centred. Temper tantrums, especially if you feel someone is questioning your life direction, or lack of. Becoming too competitive and ruthless in getting what you want. A crystal for this moon, moonstone or moss agate for new beginnings. I'm not sure if this is moss agate. I always wonder what it is, but for some reason I'm thinking it could be moss agate. We've got a pendulum in this one as well, so I'm not completely sure of that, but we've got some moonstone here as well. So we've got all of our crystal energies and crystal grids here, and we call in all the elemental consciousnesses as well. Celestite to hear your soul's wisdom, or bloodstone for bravery and motivation. And we've got our celestite wands here. We broke the end of this one sadly, but they're the spiral ones. And then we've got our celestite wand up here at the back too. So thank you, Kirsty Gallagher. Now we will read... Oh, what I was going to say. So when we do our mirror work, we tend to look in our third eye, because otherwise we switch between looking into the left eye and the right eye. But when we look in between the eyebrows, we've got a centre focal point that's between the two that combines the two eyes, but it also brings in the third eye. And we haven't done it yet today, but we will do it. We've been doing the Akashic prayer daily. We started it 9 days before the full moon, and we will do it up. There's a second full moon on the 31st on Halloween, and it's a blue moon, and it's a very rare occurrence. And this is also the month where, up until winter, where the veil between the physical three-dimensional realm and the spirit realm, the etherical realm, or we like to deal more in science, so we like to think of it as energy and quantum energy. But because we're going up to from the equal day of balance of the autumn equinox or spring equinox if you're in the southern hemisphere, and the winter equinox, it's when there's a lot of introversion happening in the body, in alignment with the energies, natures as well. So because this is an extra powerful month for illumination and releasing and forgiveness, and we've been repeating our online 44-day meditations over and over, the Akashic Prayer was one of the practice prompts in that, and it's very fitting, and we love it because of the DID. We don't have can't remember stuff as such, and so this is great because it accesses what a lot of affirmations don't, whereas a lot of affirmations and other things can cause us confusion. This is fab because it doesn't actually relate to a particular person, but it encompasses everything and everyone. So I'll just say it quickly. You may wish to join your hands together in prayer, close your eyes or whatnot. But the prayer goes, if anyone or anything has hurt me in the past, knowingly or unknowingly, I forgive and release it. If I have hurt anyone or anything in the past, knowingly or unknowingly, I forgive and release it. If I have hurt myself in the past, knowingly or unknowingly, I forgive and release it for everyone's highest good. Now, we actually say that a few times, and we also put in the pronouns we and you, and then that accesses all of the alternate personalities in this body to gain co-consciousness and integration. And then I've got another forgiveness prayer that we do, and I'll read that one out at the end of reading this. 16 is the number of rebirth as well, new beginnings, 1 and 6, unconditional love, together, added together equaling 7, self-growth, self-development, and it's a very spiritual number. And if you're to minus them, you'd come up with 5, which is the number of change and freedom. And the only constant in life is changing. We're always changing and evolving. If it's external, evolution on the external, but it's involution on the internal. Power. Step into your true power. Shine brightly. Do not hide who and what you are. The time is right to attract big things for yourself. Ancestral energy is important. Open your mind to larger possibilities. Big magic can be wrought. And the incantation, as we normally do it, I, we, you, we, I. I have power. It is real. We have power. It is real. You have power. It is real. Yes, you have power. It is real. We have power. It is real. I have power. It is real. Go outside on a clear night and look up. Hopefully you'll see the stars are twinkling. If you're really lucky, you might see the swirling Milky Way spinning across the darkness. And then, there she is, the big full moon, unmistakable in her glory and power. She moves the earth itself, stabilizes it into orbit. She releases and pulls the seas. She is the object of devotion, the inspiration of poems, the realm of goddesses, and she has witnessed the very first of us rise up on 2 legs and venerate her. Generation after generation, we have stood barefoot under the same moon, wishing, setting intentions, dancing and drawing her graceful power. You are made of the very swirling matter that is the stuff of stars. You are pure possibility, changing constantly, renewing and transforming. Take this moment to recognise that power and rejoice in it, for your next step is the precursor to your future self. And the companion stone or metal is the moonstone. And just before we move on to Friday's moon phase, the day after moon phase, day after the moon. Full moon forgiveness. As we work with full moon energies, we will notice that we focus on the positive and what we want rather than the negative and what we don't want. But we also deal with the negative. This is particularly relevant at full moon, which is the best time to practice forgiveness and self-forgiveness. Not only does forgiveness clear away karma, but it also breaks the ties between you and whatever or whoever happened to you. Remember, though, that forgiveness must come from the heart. Let's begin with my favourite forgiveness prose, adapted from the A Forgiveness Formula by Catherine Ponder, and reproduced below with her kind permission. Read it out loud, now, tonight, tomorrow night, whenever you need to forgive yourself or someone else. But it's especially powerful at full moon. Under the glorious full moon, I forgive everything. Everyone, every experience, every memory of the past or present that needs forgiveness. I forgive positively everyone. I also forgive myself of past mistakes. The universe is love. I am forgiven and governed by love alone. Love is now adjusting my life. Realizing this, I abide in peace. I bring love and healing to all my thoughts, beliefs and relationships. I learn my lessons and move on. I call on my soul fragments to be cleansed by the full moon, and I call on them to rejoin me. I send love to myself and everyone I know, and everyone who knows me in all directions of time. Under this glorious full moon, I am healed. My life is healed, and so it is. So be it. Amen. Nema. 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 Namaste. Etzaman. 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 As with manifesting, at any time is a good time to forgive someone, even if we don't forget. But the full moon is especially good because all of our emotions bubble up and are therefore easier to tune into and process. So at this time, think about whether you're happy or sad and why, and then work with it and recite the forgiveness formula. At the time of the full moon, the key word is surrender. Surrender to your higher self, to the universe, to the God, Goddess. Acknowledge that there are some things we don't understand yet. Accept what is and sit with that. Then give yourself time out during the waning cycle, which will lead you back to new moon and the next waxing cycle. And that's from the Moonology Diary 2020 by Yasmin Boland. And it just says at the end, this diary also includes resistant work for you to do during the year. This means working out why you're resisting change. So, for example, on the most basic level, if you think rich people are evil, you will resist abundance. Resistance work also helps to give you an energetic clear out so that you can more easily send out your cosmic orders from your heart and consciously create your best life. We adapt the wording and we change things slightly to suit our specific needs as well. So if you are embarking on any of this type of work to self-heal and cleanse your mental body on top of the things that you're doing to cleanse your physical body internally with food and breath work, but also with some kind of subtle or physical movement, it's about working with all the senses and all the bodies at once, balancing, going to and fro between them and balancing them out to get the most output with the most ease is what we're finding. So that was the full moon. And the day after the full moon is the waning gibbous 1, self-reflection. Be curious about your own nature. Choose to turn inwards, to quietly contemplate who and what you are and want. The more you know about yourself, the more you are able to steer yourself well. Know what you believe and why, yet be open to the development of new beliefs and ways of being. And the incantation, I, you, we, you may wish to say afterwards. I am not afraid to look deeply at myself in all aspects. We are not afraid to look deeply at ourselves in all aspects. You are not afraid to look deeply at yourself in all aspects. You are not afraid to look deeply at yourself in all aspects. That one works really well when you're saying it in front of the mirror, because you're saying you, but you're referring to you in the mirror. So it's a deeper aspect of you. Yeah, you just have to try the work to really understand what I'm saying. And the more you say it, the more it taps into you. The more you get to the emotion, the more you'll be able to forgive and release the emotion and what's causing it. We are not afraid to look deeply at ourselves in all aspects. I am not afraid to look deeply at myself in all aspects. Both scientists and spiritual practitioners believe there is much benefit to be had in self-reflection. The process involves us thinking about what is happening, how we react and make sense of it. It exposes our strengths and weaknesses and gives us information to make changes if we choose to. It gives us a small respite in the busyness of life and allows our brain to make some sense of the chaos we experience each day. As self-reflection is something we all would benefit from doing, why don't we do it? First, self-reflection requires us to slow down somewhat and turn our awareness inward. Something that does not come naturally to some, and especially not to the highly extroverted. Starting small and maybe getting assistance with someone else as a guide can solve this. Second, some people are not sure exactly how to self-reflect and so do not try. To change this, examine the various ways to self-reflect during a regular 5-minute recap of the day as you commute home or before dinner. Sit quietly and think about all that has happened and your reactions to it, and on this moon, every moon cycle. Record how you feel each day. There are many ways to self-reflect, and one will suit you. Third, some people self-reflect, but when they do, they don't like the feelings of vulnerability, anger, guilt, or even defensiveness this incurs. Why go there when it isn't pleasant? Here is where we grow our self-responsibility. Short-term pain will certainly be worth long-term gain if we do not ignore the elephant in the room. A regular practice of self-reflection allows us to intercede before problems get too big. We can, for example, catch ourselves before something gets way out of hand. We can apologise and make amends to someone for our mistake. We can catch negative patterns and stop them in their tracks. The theme of waning gibbous moons, of which this is the first, is the process of self-reflection and building resilience. Companion stone or metal, tiger's eye. And we've got a nice little pile of tiger's eye down here. We've got red tiger's eye. You've got your yellow tiger's eye point. And then another bit of polished tiger's eye. Stone we use a lot. Thank you, Queen of Oracle Moon. Now, for the underlying, this has been coming up a bit lately, the underlying subconscious, unseen, unaware reason for the reading. 9, the number of completion in the physical form. Knowledge. Key words: knowledge, skills, understanding, training, education and practical experience. Key phrases: we exist to learn as we learn to exist. Knowledge is power. Has your past education served you? Do not limit your potential for learning. A time of new study and learning, an opportunity to learn about people and the world. Surround yourself with books and information. Does bias and unfounded prejudice close you to new knowledge? Improve upon the knowledge that you have. Where is your knowledge taking you? Does what you are learning now serve a practical purpose? Create a better future by continuing your studies. And then we have another 9 for the top. So 9 for the bottom of physical form completion and the major arcana. And then we have the 9 of air for the top of the pack, the conscious, the aware, the seen reason for the reading. So 2 9s is 99 is the number of compassion. So we're working in the spectrum of physical form completion, completing patterns and cycles in our physical reality, leading us to self-compassion so that we can have compassion for others. 9 of air, and air is the swords, the mind, the intellect. Key words: self-awareness, universal consciousness, understanding, insight, vision, imagination, fantasy, creativity. Key phrases: open to possibility. Possibilities are infinite. Know thyself and know the universe. What dwells within you dwells within nature. Belief creates. All that exists was first imagined. Fantasy is the birthplace of reality. You were born to create. Imagine your fears away. I just love this card. Just all the yellow around the head. Bringing her yellow lotus up to the throat chakra. So the solar plexus is yellow, empowerment, being empowered through the voice. And all that rainbow electromagnetic field going into her head. The cosmos is within. Beautiful, thank you. And to start the reading, this was the first one that was jumped out before we even said any of our intentions, prayers, shuffling the pack or anything. It just jumped out straight away. So we weren't going to take it, but we ended up taking it anyway. And then another 3 were given after this. And so this is it's a mirror again, because they work with Roman numerals. It's a mirror of the 9, but rather than 1x, it's x1, which is number 11. Master number of service, number of individuality. Equaling 2, balance, choices, patience. Body, mind. Keywords: imagination, reality, fact, opinion, body, mind, open mind, narrow mind. Key phrases: be open-minded and questioning. You are only limited by your mind. Be discerning. How is your mind affecting your body? How is your body affecting your mind? Facts are certainties. Opinions are not facts. We can only change ourselves. Potential blockage. The 11 of air, blockage, has a very simple and direct meaning. If it appears in your reading today, it, like its upright meanings, symbolises a potential imbalance that needs to be addressed. And in yoga, yoga means the yoking, the union of one's body and mind through their breath. Meaning of the card. What is reality and what is imagined? What is fact and what is fiction? Can that which dwells within the mind have an effect on the body? And can the physical body affect the state of the mind? The 11 of air symbolises a need to keep a healthy understanding of the relationship between mind and body, and the power each can have over the other. It symbolises being able to differentiate between fact and opinion, and to make room for the imagination within our realities, while still embracing a little bit of reality within our imaginings. This may be a challenging card for some, because the eyes can only see what the mind is willing to conceive. So the more rigid the mind, the more difficult it is to accept how much influence and power the mind and body have over each other. If the mind is unwilling or limited, then understanding is difficult, and acceptance in some circumstances may be impossible. We all know someone who, no matter how many times they are offered facts, not opinions or theories, still cannot believe unless they witness it with their own eyes, or experience it personally, and even then they still might not believe it. They are complete skeptics. We used to be like that, but we had to get out of that because the internet works and we can't see what makes the internet work. Microwaves work, but you can't see what makes them work. There's so many things out there nowadays. You've got your wireless headphones, your wireless speakers. They all work without the wires and stuff that we cannot see. So it is pure ignorance if one chooses to keep that mentality, especially in this day and age. They are complete skeptics. Then there are others who are open to everything and question nothing. They would believe you if you were to tell them that you did not see a blue sky above, but instead saw a pink one. Yes, there are actually people who see and perceive colours differently. That's called synesthesia. David Eagleman's a great person to Google or TED Talks on that. It's absolutely incredible. But this person is so open-minded that they would not consider that a lie is offered. They would not question or even consider that you might be lying to them. They are just so trusting and willing to believe in the good of others that they accept everything offered, whether it be truth or deception. Their willingness to trust and follow blindly gets them into just as much strife as those who find it difficult to believe in anything beyond their own experiences. The 11 of air appears to remind us that somewhere in the middle of the two is a better way to be. Strive to be open-minded and questioning. And that's one of the 4 agreements. Don't make assumptions, question everything. We'll leave a link to that book underneath. Sometimes a little scepticism and discernment can serve to protect you from making foolish mistakes and following blindly as you are led off a cliff. On the other hand, believing only in facts and the reality that you experience with your physical senses can close you off to reaching your fullest potential. You may limit yourself and what you can accomplish because achieving goals and living your dreams requires a belief in something more than just the tangible. When the 11 of air appears in your cards, it is also asked that you look at the impact your beliefs might be having upon your body and the impact your lifestyle and diet might be having on your mind. Excuse me, that was a release unexpected there. The mind can and does have amazing power over the body. Some Tibetan monks and Indian yogis have become so skilled at using meditation to manipulate their bodies that they can control blood pressure, body temperature, heart rate, and more. People with multiple personality disorders have been known to have personalities that have completely different health statuses, and we can affirm that one. Having dissociative identity disorder, the new terminology for it now. They can have one personality that physically needs glasses in order to see properly, and another that does not. There are some with personalities that exhibit a range of physical health issues, such as high blood pressure and diabetes, but other personalities that have no health issues at all. And these differences have been witnessed, recorded, and studied by both medical practitioners and scientists alike. It is a fact that the mind can alter the body. You can have different eye colours and everything with it. How is your mind affecting your body? In the same way the mind can alter the body can also alter the mind. Research now shows that if the body is unhealthy, for example, there are issues within the gut such as GERD, G-E-R-D, capital letters all, Candida, irritable bowel syndrome, and Crohn's disease. The mind too can be affected. Imbalances within the gut can also lead to depression, anxiety, irritability, hyperactivity, and inability to focus or concentrate, and memory lapses. Pain and inflammation can also have similar effects upon the mind, especially if they impact on the ability to sleep. So yeah, DID, dissociative identity disorder, that's been immense for us understanding the gut biome and the intestines. And with our yoga, many years yoga practice, we've been doing it for 12 years now. We started our teacher training after doing it for 4 years. So that would make 8 years that we've been doing it for teacher training. And then we've just been doing our own personal practice for about 6 years now. The autism gives us the ability to perceive and understand the multidimensionality and interdimensions. The postural orthostatic trachea syndrome gives us the ability to understand the pressure in the body and the how we need the breath and to build up the pressure to clear the tubes in the body, which clears the energy blockages and allows energy to flow properly and healthily at its optimum resonance. The fibromyalgia is amazing because it builds its own passageways. So when there is one tubular part of the channel, meridian, nadi of the body that the energy flows down, because everything in our body's tubes, our veins, our arteries, inside the bones, on a simple basic level, we live in a tubular body. So when the tube gets blocked, fibromyalgia comes around and just builds a new tube, builds a new highway, which is fab because it means that the system can still function. But it's not fab because it means there's a lot of pain involved. There's the pain coming from the channel that's congested or blocked, and then there's the pain from the new channel being built. We also have a processing language disorder, which means we function better with numbers and maths and feel our body on a subatomic level, so we feel the matter of the body through the movement of energy in it rather than just knowing where our body is in time and space, and that's the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS. Find it as a connective tissue disorder, a malfunction in the protein collagen, but that gives us the ability to understand the connective tissue, the fascia, the matrix of the body. So if you were to take all matter away from the body and just leave the connective tissue, you'd be able to see absolutely everything in the body and where it is, because connective tissue is what connects every single aspect of the body. So yeah, it's the matrix and the highways of the body down to the electromagnetic, energetic level. The circulatory system is the electrochemical functionality of the body, which it's your gut biome and your hormones and what you eat that in your intestines and different parts of your intestines that sends the signals through the circulatory system up to your brain that then produces the information, the moods, the traits, etc. To go out. So it's very important for well-being of mind and body and heart and breath. And what people say, to listen to their gut or to listen to their emotions, or their emotions never lie, the gut never lies, the body never lies. And I can feel the emotion raisings again now. But for someone with all of this now, and we understand the gifts that they will bring us and what they're teaching us and how we're transcending and healing and connecting all through natural medicine, because it was all the man-made medication that we were on that triggered the seizures, which needed to happen to let us know that we had the DID. But then flips us afterwards, because we had to be on it again, but we didn't want it. It was a scenario where we had gone into a really, really young primal alter that didn't talk, didn't communicate, and the system doesn't understand DID. And on a bigger picture, it needed to happen because we needed fascia in the body to be ripped apart that couldn't be cut with a surgeon's knife. And we wouldn't go to a hospital because we'd have too many hospital experiences that sent us into traumatic states, that, yeah, we wouldn't just even go to a hospital. But for someone that hasn't eaten for a week, hasn't drunk, hasn't slept for like over a month, then it's a hospital they normally go to. But because our experiences over the last 4 years had provided hospital experiences and we'd just got ourselves out of them, it wasn't receptive, we were put into a state where the autonomic nervous system started dying, and we had programmed ourselves not to have any out-of-body experiences, so we couldn't actually die. And so it put us into an in-between state of consciousness, stuck in the circular logic, circular system thinking, energy of spirit, and we couldn't understand any linear logic. We couldn't even communicate, and we ended up, kind of running around our little Cumber home section of a village naked because we couldn't find our way home. And that's where the police came, took us, fed us medication. We then lost 4 days because of an allergic reaction to the medication and the EDS. We just spent 3.5 years purifying our body and getting ourselves off the medication they'd put us on before. And we came round, woke up to 8 people restraining us, pulling us from all directions, still couldn't talk. I was still locked inside. The conscious, aware eyes that communicate were still locked inside, and they were telling us to relax, and we were locked inside going, hello, haven't you heard of the autonomic nervous system, the fight, flight, freeze response? We can't relax. And we were trying to get them to stand 3 feet away from us, at least minimum, which is our physical body. But yeah, they wouldn't do it. It eventually kind of calmed down and sorted itself out, with a lot of just communication through the heart and through eye language. I think we got about 3 people to let go of us because we just stared them out in the eye. Just inside, we were saying, look, this isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't right. We don't need to be doing this. We're feeding off all your fears. We can't relax, and just sending loads of love and explanations through the energy, but not through actual vocal communication. So I don't know why we started talking about all that now, but it was to share our experiences and our stories on why we have, as being human, we have these disorders and we have these illnesses and we have these diseases, which comes from a lack of us loving ourselves, probably due to our childhood programming. But as an adult, we can choose to start changing that. And this is my big passion and my purpose, is to inspire others to change and to share our story, all aspects of, with complete strength and courage in our vulnerability, to show people that it is possible, and to give the information and the science and the fact with it, along with the personal experience. So we'll continue on now. How is your body affecting your mind? It is important to understand that what you believe in your mind can have an impact on your body, and what you do to your body can have an impact on your mind. Just like the Indian yogis and the Tibetan monks, you have it within you to have so much more control than you might believe. And sometimes the biggest changes can be made just by learning to see a positive lesson within a negative experience. There's a positive to every negative, I can tell you. Or telling yourself that you can and will, instead of you can't and should not. You can do almost anything you set your mind and body to doing. The 11 of air also addresses the subject of fact and opinion, and discerning between the two. We all have opinions, and those opinions may be valid if based on knowledge and personal experience. But opinion and fact are not the same thing. A fact is something that has been proven to be true, and that truth is based in certainty and constancy. It is a fact that night follows day. It is a fact that we live on a planet that is made up of oceans and land masses. It is a fact that rain falls from the sky. It is a fact that rainbows are created when light shines through water particles. A fact is something that cannot be disputed. An opinion can be disputed. For example, it is an opinion that all dogs have fleas. A dog owner might have had many dogs, and all of those dogs may have had fleas, but this does not make the statement that all dogs have fleas factual. It is his opinion based on his personal experience. The fact is that not all dogs have fleas, some do and others do not. The 11 of air asks you to be wise to the difference. When offering information to others, be sure that what you offer is fact. Be clear when you are offering opinions based on your personal experiences, because what might be truth to you might not be truth for someone else. And we always advise to do your own research and check up, because this is a live reality healing thing for us, and this is for our healing and to inspire others and to like multitask in a way. But we also do it because we watch these back so we can see which altars get muddled up. Some of them say can't and put a T on the end, so it means cannot rather than can. We get words mixed up back to front, etc. It's getting a load better. Our other channel's Neve, Deborah, Snowflake, Coleman, and we've got the Psych Ward playlist in there because it was the altars that started doing all this in the Psych Ward with the SoundCloud initially to start with, and then doing these lives on Facebook, and then we started the YouTube channels. Something that I would never have normally done due to a lack of confidence and a huge uncomfortableness of being seen and heard, but with practice and the more we do this is changing as well. So you can like delve into our live healing story more through watching more of the stuff on this channel. You can get and watching stuff on that channel, and the books that we read out as well. What we read, because we're doing it in meditative states in the moment, triggers things, and stuff comes up, so it's an insight into our inner worlds and realities for the conscious eyes as well that are talking now, although some of us aren't necessarily conscious. I don't know, I'm quite sure exactly how to explain that. And so when I watch it back, when certain ones of us watch it back to do the reevaluation, the reflection, and to get to know each other, this is where we learn a lot about ourselves. It's been shifting and changing lots. Just that was February, we had our 40th in there in February, so that's like 7-8 months, and it's been massive, the changes already compared to the previous 3.5 years. Don't get caught up in a game of I am right and you are wrong. When you are basing your arguments on opinion, facts are certainties, while opinions might be true for the individual but can be subject to dispute when looked at from the perspective of another. And even now what we're learning, because we've always been about science and maths, and the more we've looked into science, and Nassim Harameyn's great for this, the Resonance Science Project, is that one of the fundamental formulas of that's used for science is based on half a theoretical formula. So if we're using stuff to prove fact, and it's the stuff that the formulas we're using to prove the fact is theoretical, then how really is that fact if it's based on a theoretical formula? Leave that one for you to ponder. Facts are certainties, while opinions might be true for the individual, but can be subject to dispute when looked at from the perspective of another. A wee note should be also made of the differences between something that has been proven to be fact and something that is theoretical. A theory, a group of ideas or concepts, might well have been studied and researched to a great extent, but it must always be remembered that theories are based upon conjecture, speculation and assumption. Until such time as a theory can be proven to be factual, it is only a guess. We can theorise all that we want, but we should be careful not to offer theory and conjecture as fact. Our minds, our imaginations, are amazing creative tools. With our minds and imaginations, we have the ability to shape our reality and to create our reality, but that reality is also shaped by absolutes. The 11 of air asks us not to become so lost in our imaginings that we forget reality. Instead, we do best to remember that there are needs to be a productive harmony and acceptance of both. We can literally change our minds and in doing so alter our physical state. But we do so within a physical reality that is full of certainties that we have no control over. We can only control ourselves and our perception of the world. When you differentiate between what is factual about your own mind and self and what is simply theory, Jupiter time for luck and expansion, and what is simply theory or opinion-based belief, you can change what is within both so that your mind and body are one and not working against each other. You can see that a true fact is a fact that rarely changes, while opinions change all the time irrespective of the facts and can exist side by side with contradictory truths, because they are often based on our perception and understanding as opposed to reality. Like the other 11 cards, the 11 of air is a balancing and realignment card. If it appears within your reading, it does so in order for you to determine if there is an imbalance at play, and suggests that you meditate upon the subject. Thank you. Beautiful card. Just in case you want to see that closer. And then one of the other ones, we'll leave the links to these below because this has come out before. The 10 of water. Keywords: universal love, divine connection, centeredness, serenity, peace, oneness, boundaries, disruption. Key phrases: truly living in the present, a feeling of divine connection, a time of serenity and ease, power born of knowledge and understanding, a positive emotional state, the power to consciously project your energy, say no to disruptive influences, giving life and power to shadows. And then we had this one as well before. This was the Pisces read, actually, the last Pisces read. King of Earth. Number 14. 14 is the number of moderation, made of 1, new beginnings, 4, perseverance, structure, grounding. Together, adding them together equaling 5, change and freedom. Or if you minus them from each other, you end up with 3, creative expansion. Keywords: virile, successful, industrious, devoted, steadfast, authoritative, reliable, dedicated. Key phrases: take pride in accomplishments, pay it forward, honour your process. Now is not the time to make changes. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Free yourself from control. Don't be lazy. Abuse, misuse of power. And then another 14. So lots of 5s and 9s, wasn't it? 2 14s, 2 9s, And the 2 14s add up to 2 5s, which equal 10, which go with the 10. So you've got 10 10 and then 9 9 with an 11. So, and 11 is 2 1s. So and that's it. The 10 10s go down to 2 1s again. So you end up getting 4 1s. The numbers were really interesting with this. And so this is 14. We did the numbers for that. The South. Keywords: I am, identity, self-realization, self-manifestation, centre, peace, acceptance. Key phrases: establish a unique and individual identity. Be free of definitions and labels. You have unlimited potential. How has your past shaped you? Identity is fluid and changing. Who you are is for you to determine. Are you trying to fit with the wrong crowd? Know who you are. Who do you wish to become? A path of loving expansion. Let go of a herd mentality. Think for yourself. Well, a path for loving expansion is perfect for this right now because we are in Jupiter time. Meaning: the Self card is the 6th of the reasons for being. It signifies the importance of establishing a unique and individual identity that is free of definitions and labels and embraces unlimited potential. There are elements within every society that do all they can to quash the independent, the creative and the authentic, because they profit in one way or another from doing so. Independent thinkers, creative types, those who defy tradition and convention, and who perceive what is ethical and moral and what is legal as being two different beasts, are people that threaten the status quo. As a result, we are indoctrinated. We are told how to think, told what is normal, told what is beautiful and acceptable, what is right and what is wrong. Those who disagree or seek to be independent, who just do not fit with society's definition of normal and beautiful, are often met with fear, anger, contempt and ridicule, and even banishment and imprisonment. And that's kind of what happened to us in a way, because we asked some lady for a dressing gown in moments of clarity and communication, and if there's a naked girl in distress, I would give her my dressing gown if I had something on underneath, and this lady did. The policeman, they did accommodate. There was 2, and one's energies wasn't nice at all, and he was triggering us more, so he stepped away, and we communicated with the other one, and we were trying to tell him to can he just take off his vest with all the tools on, all the bits that the police use. So of course he couldn't, but that was hindering our ability to communicate even more with the autism. And we were kind of knocking on people's doors and asking if we could sleep on their floor. There was like 4 or 5 people we knew in the area, and we had attempted to get to their houses, but we were always a few houses off each time because we weren't able to think in a linear sense. It was all what came across as irrational, but it wasn't. We just needed to be brought home to our safe space, really. But we needed some respite. We couldn't communicate what we needed because we didn't know, and we needed respite. We needed someone to cook for us and to clean for us and to do stuff for us while the body could just breathe and rest and replenish itself with our yoga and everything that we do. And when we were made to take more medication in the psych ward, and then they wanted us to take more again, we figured out how to do it safely for us, told them we'd have a reaction to it, and after that we would refuse to take any more. And then managed to finally get them to allow us to take in our sound healing tools, our essential oils, our yoga blocks, our yoga stuff, our books, our tuning forks, crystals, etc. And we managed to get ourselves out in 2 weeks. We were the only person in there sectioned, and we were sectioned under Act 2. And we were the most sanest, rational, self-healing, self-responsible, self-accountable person in there. We have just never fitted or conformed into any of society's understandings, basically. I feel that adds on to our purpose in life too. Independent thinkers can be considered radicals, creative types seen as eccentric or crazy, and those who defy tradition and convention as rebels and freaks. We've got unique tattooed on our shoulder, which we got done in our, I think it was our late teens or maybe early 20s, because we used to be called freak or unique at school. So we've had this label of difference right from an early age, and we've spent pretty much our whole life up attempting to conform as much as we can. And even in our attempt to conform with society and to fit into society, we're still considered extreme, kind of quite out there and different. So, I mean, yeah, and God knows how we're perceived now. We've been housebound for almost 4 years, and there's a lot of fear about integrating into society and relating to people again. But that's not what's stopping us. What's stopping us is, once we know that we're strong, flexible and balanced in our body, we will be in our mind, and we'll be able to handle the triggers that come with people's lack of compassion and people's ignorance of a situation, basically, which just stems from their own deep inner fears at the end of the day. All risk condemnation in one way or another. Yet time and time again we are told that we should embrace our differences, be creative and strive to be authentic. We are controlled via the media, religious organisations and educational institutions, and taught how to behave, how to think, what to believe and feel. We are told what is normal and what is not, and that we must strive to be normal. Normal is acceptable. But what is normal? It takes courage to defy family, tradition and societal expectation. Establishing a healthy, authentic self-identity is one of the most challenging tasks you will face in this lifetime. We just did the Fibonacci golden ratio phi, 21/34, pulse reset through sounding there. I'll read that again. That was big for us. I feel like apologising, but I'm not going to apologise because there's nothing to be apologised for. This is us sharing our, being authentic and sharing our uniqueness and our methods of healing our trauma. It takes courage to defy family, tradition and societal expectation. Establishing a healthy, authentic self-identity is one of the most challenging tasks you will face in this lifetime, because it requires a willingness to break free of labels and definitions that we, not just others, place upon ourselves. It takes courage to say no to those who expect and sometimes demand that you say yes. The South card represents stepping free of the labels others have bestowed upon us and redefining ourselves in a manner that is not restrictive or limiting. It means having the courage to follow your own path instead of the path laid down by others. Who were you? Who are you? Who do you wish to become? The South card poses these questions. Yet you must first know who you are and how you were shaped by your past to be able to answer them. To discover and know your true self is to undertake a journey of undoing, being and becoming. To find your centre place where you are fulfilled at peace and accepting of all that you were, are and will become. Potential blockage. The Self card blocked represents a need for you to look within and ask if you are embracing other people's beliefs and behaviour in order to belong. Going along with a herd mentality can make you predictable and lead others to have certain expectations of you, especially if you are predisposed to follow their lead or do as they do without question. Humans have always formed tribes and communities. We are social animals that seek out others in order to feel protected and understood. But while we are and always will be part of a collective, we are also unique and individual beings who have evolved to a point where we have the freedom to be different. If we have the courage and desire to do so. In fact, we have the freedoms that we do because generations before ours have defied convention and tradition, broken laws and fought for their right to be free-thinking individuals. That fight is ongoing as people continue to evolve and each tribe demands to have the same rights and privileges as their neighbouring tribe. Monkey see, monkey do. It is said that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but there are many who do not see imitation as flattery in any form. Rather, they see it as the act of someone who seeks to curry favour or approval, or of someone who is unable or afraid to think for themselves. Sorry, our body's going a bit mad there. That noises are all the joints from where the broken collarbone and lots were, so it's all like realigning. So I just have to kind of go with the flow. So think for yourself, stand on your own 2 feet, be innovative and original instead of doing what everyone else is doing. It does not serve you to believe what others tell you to believe, nor to do as others do, unless you truly do believe as they do and share the same values. If you want to belong, do not try to make yourself fit by being the same as others. When you know that you are different, be who you are. Respect who you are, and then you will draw to you those who are similar, who will respect you and whom you will also respect, because like you, other free-thinking, independent people are busy walking their own path. The future. When the Self card appears in the future position, it flows directly on from the questions raised in the present. The 2 work hand in hand. One creates and manifests in the next. Ask yourself, who do I wish to become? Will the choices and decisions I make in the present change me for the better or worse in the future? Am I on a path of loving expansion, or am I on a slippery descent into turmoil? Our identity and how we perceive ourselves is ever changing and evolving. We are our own masterwork. Let the love you have for yourself guide your brushstrokes. Create a masterpiece. That's what we're doing. The past. Ask yourself, who was I? Am I still the same person I was then? Or have I grown and changed? Am I holding on to an outdated idea of who I am that needs to be changed? You are not the same person you were 10 years ago. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago. Sometimes change occurs so swiftly that you can be a very different person from one day to the next. Every experience changes you, sometimes in small ways and sometimes in monumental ways, and we do not walk through life without experiencing change. Sometimes the change occurs within the mind, when your thoughts and perception are altered. At other times, the changes are physical and noticeable to all. You change from one day to the next, even if that change is only that you are one day older. You cannot remain untouched and unchanged if you are alive and living your life. Time and motion bring a change. So what marks has your past made upon you mentally, emotionally, physically and spiritually? Do you believe your past experiences have shaped you for better or worse? Do you look back with pride or do you look back with regret? Learn from those regrets and then let them go. They serve no purpose except to weigh you down if you hold on to them. Do you wish for a different life? Or would you not change a single monument because you like who you are and know that one different choice or experience might have given rise to a totally different person? When the South card appears in the past position, it says that while your past has shaped you, it does not have to define you, and it should never be allowed to limit you. Who you are is for you to determine, not your family, not your friends, not society. You. The present. When the South card appears in the present position, it addresses the person you are in the present and asks you about the person you show to the world. Who is the person you want people to see when you first meet? How do you project yourself, and what aspects of yourself do you wish to reveal first? Do you present the same face to all who meet you? Or do you wear a mask when you are out in public and only let the real you shine forth once people have earned your trust? Do you reveal your true identity? Or instead do you present a construct that puzzles and confuses those around you because what they see is not what they get? Are you a chameleon whose shape changes to fit with everyone? Or do you reveal your true thoughts and self without worry about others' opinions of you, preferring to be generally liked by a few instead of shape changing in order to be liked by many who might not like you if you were to reveal those true thoughts and self? We all have layers. We all wear masks. We all have a public and a private face. We have a self we share with strangers, a self we share with those we like, love and trust, and a self that only we know and only a few will ever see. Yet, as we grow in confidence and acceptance, the more alike in nature those layers become. And if you are trying to fit in with the wrong crowd, you will most likely find that it is like wearing shoes that are a size too small or too big. While those shoes will, in a limited way, protect your feet and help you to move forward, over time they will pinch or rub, creating bunions and blisters. Wouldn't it be so much easier to find a pair of shoes that fit? Therefore, ask yourself, instead, who am I? Do I know this person? Is this person who I really want to be? Are there aspects of myself that I hide because I am afraid others will reject me? Are there things that I would love to do and speak of, but dare not because those around me have an expectation that I follow their lead and do as they do? Do I like me? Am I allowing others to define who I am? When the self card appears in the present, it signifies the need to take a moment to get to know yourself. Determine whether the identity you present is in fact or fiction. Are the characteristics that define your identity true to who you really are in body, mind and spirit? Or are they imposed upon you by others? Now is not a moment to judge or doubt, but an opportunity to assess and affirm. If your answer to the question, do I like me, is yes, then that is all that matters. If the answer is not so affirming, it is an opportunity to peel away some of the layers you might be hiding behind, to allow your natural self to shine, and to do it because your first love is for self. We were doing our OMS. We're not sure what happened there, but it said that the recording had paused, so I've resumed it to say Namaste. Much gratitude and unconditional love and compassion from us to you, Zanoni Snowflake, to you. Namaste.